right, let's go. So we are going to do a back hair basics class, and typically we would need at least one bolster, a blanket, a strap, a couple of cork blocks, and a happy face. And we are going to start in the holy pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. You can see that it's possible to elevate the torso depending on what you're looking for in the pose, or just laying directly over the bolster. Let's take the strap around the outsides of the feet and just line it down underneath the hip line in the back. So you can see I have the strap conveniently pulling towards me, so I can make adjustments once I'm down if I need to. And bring the blanket right up to the shoulders to create that connection between the ears and the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders. Okay, and that's all. Feel the center of your buttocks. Feel roots growing through the floor. Let's have the forearms nice and easy here, and just start to breathe deeply. Full body inhale, allow the breath to come right up into the upper chest. Feel the breath, explore the collarbone area. And then slow, smooth exhale. So take your time with the exhale. Allow the exhale to travel all the way out through the sits bones, making that exhale the same length as the inhale. So go again, slow, smooth inhale. Take your time with that breath. Feel the prana, the life force coming to the body through that inhale. Slow, smooth exhale. Feel the exhale travel right out through the sits bones as you start to connect with the sense of letting go. The body's natural tool of letting go of tension. That's your exhale. So start to spend a little time on the exhale, cultivating that length, making it slow and smooth. Feeling the sense of letting go that comes from this piece of the breath. Let's take the hands to the elbows and reach the elbows up and overhead, pressing through your feet. Allow the outermost arms to draw away from the center line of the body. That's it. Start to allow the lower ribs to release down towards the hips. And feel your sits bones connect through the earth as they reach towards the lower ribs. So we start to create a connection between the center of the buttocks and the sits bones through this pelvic area and the lower ribs. Let's take the elbows back down. And let's change the clasp of the hands to the elbows, reaching the elbows up and overhead. So pressing through the feet, feeling your inner thighs reach towards your knees. See if you can let your knees release and soften. Allow the breath to lead the effort. So this breath work is what creates that space for you inside the body. It's what starts to create that stillness in the mind, where we start to let go of that ongoing conversation, where we start to let go of our thoughts, our opinions, allowing the breath to become the most important part of this effort now. Let's release the arms to the T position, fingertips to the floor. Maybe you're touching your neighbor, looking ridiculously happy. So that's inhale as we press through the outsides of the feet. Feel that inhale, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Feel that sense of length through the front of the body. And now start to let the back of the shoulders release down away from the ears on the exhale, but continue that sense of lifting and length through the front of the body. Tightening the muscles of the arm around the bone. Allowing the breath to lead the effort. So this is a great pose. It opens the pelvic area here, the #1 disease center for both genders. And it also creates an opening and liberation in the upper chest. So the spine is in a nice supported extension, a nice supported back bend. Good. So that's slowly released. Let's bring the hands and forearms to the floor and gently press yourself up. And we're going to move the belt buckle away from us to open the strap and just release the strap here. So often when we spend some time in a supported back bend, we need to release the lower back. So this is a good time to come into Adho Mukha Virasana, which is the child's pose. The knees are apart, the feet are together, and you can see I'm taking my blocks now and I'm going to support the head as well as take the hands and just cup the corner edges of the block with the instep of your thumb and your index finger, and then just release your head down. If you felt you needed some more support to create that connection between the lower ribs and the thighs, you can use a blanket. And then again, this is where we start to allow the breath to lead the effort here. So we can let go of all of the doing and just allow the breath to lead the way. See if you can press your palms to the floor and push your hips down towards your heels. So we can feel a sense of that right sits bone tucking in and under, the left sits bone tucking in and under. And then we lift the belly and feel a sense of the front of the body getting longer and longer, more and more open. And this is a great pose to return to if you feel that you've overworked your back. If you feel like you might like to give your spine a little support and relief. So this is also how you would measure the distance between your hands and feet for the downward dog pose. So if you've ever wondered, how far apart should my hands and feet be? This is how you would go about deciding that. So if you felt that you would like to come up into the pose from here, you can tuck those toes in and under and come into the downward dog. Or if you feel that you're not quite ready for the full pose and you need a little bit of opening in the upper chest, you can take your blocks to the wall. So feel free to explore either option. And let's take, if your blocks are against the wall, this is a great way to take your feet. So we want to open the feet and line the outer edges of the feet up with the outsides of the mat. Thanks, Allie, because this is a great way to explore a pose and find a little more opening here. So you can see the height that the blocks bring underneath the hands help to open and liberate the underarm chest. And by taking the feet wide, it's a good entry-level position for the downward dog, especially if you have any back issues. And you can see my toes are turning slightly in so that those inner thighs are rolling back. The fronts of the thighs are drawing straight back. See if you can pull your hips and buttocks back, stretching through the sides of the body. See if you can feel a sense of lifting your toes off the mat as though you were stretching your toes forward. Good job, everybody. Wow, you guys are hanging in there. So we're drawing the outer forearms in towards each other. See if you can feel a sense of drawing your outer hips, containing the pelvis, drawing the outer hips in towards each other. Good job, you guys. And then let's slowly come down. Nice. And let's take the blanket. And let's place the blanket underneath the knees. And let's take the block out to the right and step your left foot out to the left. Let's reach the left arm up and overhead, gently pressing through that outer left heel. Take your hips forward and then open your left underarm. Open that whole left pectoral area. Stretch the left hand as you press through the left heel. So we create a counter stretch, a two-dimensional stretch. Take your hips forward. That's it. See if you can feel that left thigh and that outer left buttocks cheek drawing in. So contain that left thigh bone by wrapping that thigh around the bone. Good job, you guys. Let's slowly lift up. So using the side transverse muscles, let's reach the right arm up, lift through the corners of the smiley face. So stretch and reach. Right hand over to the left. So we take that right hand to the left hand, and then we bring the palms together towards that left foot. Not in my lifetime. So we're stretching from the right hip to the right underarm. This is the right side of the spine. Lift your belly. That's it. See if you can drop the right shoulder into the socket and take the right hand further to the left. That's it. Full body breaths. Good job. Let's slowly lift back up. And let's change sides. So let's take that right foot out to the side. Try to line your right foot, the left knee, and the left hand. And let's reach that right hand in the opposite direction, pressing actively through that right foot. Lift your belly, pelvis forward, open your right underarm. Breathe deeply. So see if you can create resistance inside the body by wrapping the muscles around the bones. Breathe as though you were squeezing tension out through the body on the exhale. And then let's slowly lift back up. Let's reach the left arm up, up, up. Reach and stretch. Left hand over to the right. Breathe deeply, full body breaths if you can. So we want to keep this left elbow nice and high, taking the palms eventually together toward that right foot, maybe not in this lifetime, dropping that right sits bone towards the inner left thigh, so that right thigh is rolling out. Good. Breathe deeply, everybody, full body breaths. And then let's slowly lift back up. Good. And let's move the blanket off to the side. So let's have our blocks nearby. So have your blocks pretty close to the wall. Let's come into Uttanasana, a forward fold. But we're going to have the knees bent and bring the ribs so that they're connecting to the thighs. This is one of those things that's pretty tough to do. You got it. And then Ali just did it right. She went behind with her arms and tried to create that connection, drawing those lower ribs to the thighs. And then without losing that connection, let's slowly start to straighten the legs. So release your head down. Let's bend the knees again. So let's reconnect. So let's bring the ribs to the thighs, thighs to the ribs. And then without losing that connection, slowly straighten the legs. Release the head. Good job, you guys. Good job. So now that our knees are bent, let's really bend those knees a lot, dropping the buttocks down towards the floor. Let's take the hands to the wall and see if you can just lean back. And let's come and sit so that the knees are roughly at a 90-degree angle. Let's press the sacrum to the wall, belly to the wall, arms straight, shoulders back. So the reason we're doing this is that we need to keep those quadriceps and thighs strong. So press your lower back and your sacrum to the wall, shoulders back. See if you can come a little lower. Good. Sacrum to the wall, lower belly to the wall, shoulders to the wall. Breathe deeply here, full body breaths. And then let's slowly come up. And let's just fold forward here. Just fold forward. If you need your blocks, grab your blocks. Good job. So now we're going to do a little bit of back work. So let's come down onto the belly here. And just make sure that your feet aren't touching the wall. And let's bring our hands to our hips. Let's take the forehead to the floor. And let's start to press through the tops of the feet to lift the kneecaps. So feel those outer buttocks cheeks right where the crack of the buttocks ends. Draw those in. Lift your belly, so press through the tops of the feet. Lift your knees, forehead to the floor. And if you need a blanket, use a blanket. And let's lift that right leg off the mat just about 2 inches, and let's point the toes of that right foot. And now lengthen that right leg from behind the right buttocks. That's the right pelvic girdle. Create that length from behind your right buttocks. Let the breath lead the effort. Pressing through the top of the left foot, lifting the left kneecap. Feel those outer buttocks cheeks drawing in. Feel the thighs start to grip the thigh bones. Armpit chest lifts through the inhale, shoulders down away from the ears. Let's drop the right leg down. Let's thank God we only have two sides. Let's lift the left leg off the ground, pointing the left toes. Let's lengthen this left leg from behind your left buttocks. So lengthen that left leg from behind your left pelvic girdle. Breathe deeply. Let's bring the left foot down. Let's lift the right leg again, lengthening from behind your right buttocks. Let's take the left arm overhead, looking straight down. Let's lift the left arm, lift the forehead. So the gaze is to the floor. See if you can lengthen your left arm from the bottom of that left shoulder blade. Reaching through your left fingers, reaching through your right toes. So feel this diagonal line in the body. Good. Let's take the left arm back down, releasing down. Very nice, everybody. Let's lift the left leg, lengthening from behind your left buttocks, pointing those left toes. Let's take the right arm overhead and lift the right arm, looking straight down. Let's lengthen that right arm from the bottom of that right shoulder blade. So feel the muscles of that right arm get tighter around the bone. So that right shoulder is drawing right down into the socket. And you can feel that length from the right fingertips through the left toes, along that diagonal line. Good job. Let's release. And let's bring the arms forward. Let's bring the elbows right underneath the shoulders. Let's bring the feet together, press through the tops of the feet, kneecaps lift. Let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears so that you're pulling the back of those forearms straight back. Press through the elbows and take a look at those forearms. They need to be dead parallel so that you can lengthen through the instep of your inner wrists and stretch through your fingers. So let's draw the shoulders down. This is quite an advanced pose. Let's take the left forearm and make it parallel to the front of the mat, and let's bend the right leg here. So see if you can catch your right foot. If for some reason you can't grab the foot, just take your loop around the strap. And let's start to squeeze the inner legs together. Inner legs together, lift the right elbow up, and let's lift the left leg up. So squeeze your inner thighs together. Inner thighs together. So we're strengthening that left hamstring. We're doing all sorts of wunderbar things. So squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your inner thighs, squeeze your inner thighs. Let's just take that left foot down to the floor. Press to the top of that left foot. So lift your left kneecap. Let's thank God there's only two sides. Let's bring the right forearm parallel. Let's bend the left leg. Nicely done, everybody. So let's bend the left leg and let's lift the right leg. Squeezing your inner thighs together. Inner thighs, inner thighs, inner thighs. Inner thighs, inner thighs, inner thighs. Belly lifts. So we're strengthening that right hamstring. And then let's bring the right foot to the floor. So press to the top of the right foot, kneecap lifts. Good job, everybody. Let's release Let's take the hands to the lower ribs, gently pressing back. Let's take our bolster. So to release the spine, let's take the bolster right between the inner thighs. Now when you fold over the bolster, your torso needs to be totally supported. So if you do not feel full support, meaning you are surrendering over the bolster, then use your blanket and create a little more love. So I'm taking a lot of love right now, clearly. So just bring your right cheek to the bolster and start to allow the breath to come right up into the upper cervical vertebrae. So this can go a long way toward releasing tension in the spine. So feel the breath come right up into those upper cervical vertebrae, relaxing your shoulders down away from the ears. That's it. That's it. Fullness in the breast. We start to completely let go, making sure that the breath is traveling right to the top of the spine and back down again. So let's lift the head and just bring your left cheek to the bolster. Breathe deeply. Let your mind go. Let the breath perform its magic. The breath is the natural, neutral negotiator of tension in the body. So let's start to slowly lift up here. And we're just going to move the bolster off to the side just for one of our last sequences here. So let's just measure the distance between our hands and feet for downward dog, knees wide, feet together. If you feel that you need more height, use the bolster, use the blocks. You can use 2 sets of blocks, whatever it takes. And then let's slowly lift the hips. You can see I always take that moment as I come up through table. And that's, since we're here in table, let's do a few of those spinal waves. So let's draw those outer forearms down away from the ears. So draw those shoulders down away from the ears. And then imagine gripping a block with the upper forearm. So we draw those outer forearms in, and we stick the buttocks out, but the belly is lifting. Let's reach the heart slightly forward if you can manage this. And then let's tuck the tailbone in and under. So we lead with the tailbone, rolling one vertebrae at a time as you release your head down, looking through to your navel. Let's lift the belly up, up, up into the spine. So the upper body is soft. Lift the right side of the belly, lift the left side of the belly, releasing the upper spine and head. And then again, leading with the tailbone. Let's take that tailbone up towards the sky, rolling one vertebrae at a time. Let's draw the shoulders down away from the ears, looking slightly forward. And linger in that moment. This is where the fruit of your labor is. And let's start to move through the spinal waves to the rhythm of your own breath here. These spinal waves create space between the vertebrae to release the nerves. They bring moisture back to the spine. And the studies suggest that we are only as young as our spine. So the key to longevity is agility. Everybody? Okay, so everybody's got their buttocks sticking up, pelvis untucked, shoulders down away from the ears. Let's tuck the toes in and under, downward dog. So if you're new to downward dog, it's better to have your feet wide. If you have any type of shoulder injury, it's better to have your hands wider and further apart. We're creating openness in the body with this beautiful spinal extension. So let's focus on lifting the kneecaps up, lifting the tops of the thighs up, taking the heels down to the floor, shoulders down away from the ears, outer forearms in, and then let's walk the hands towards the feet. And let's slowly come up here because we're going to take our block and bring it to the center of our mat, roughly against the wall. Good. Very nice. So let's take the right foot on top of the block so that the ball of the foot is against the wall. Exactly. And see if you can take your left foot back as far as you can and make sure that the left foot is not crossing over the axis of the right. So we want to have a line that connects the feet, but we don't want to cross the feet over that line. And then let's start to press through the ball of that right foot, lift up through that right kneecap. And let's feel that left heel start to press actively to the earth, lifting the left kneecap. So we're intelligizing the legs. Everybody, press through your heels, press through the balls of the feet, lift your kneecaps up, feel those thighs become tight around the bone so that that left hip is migrating forward and stays right in line with the right hip. So lift your kneecaps, feel the big toe knuckles connect through the earth. Let's take the left hand over to the right. And let's reach the right arm up towards the sky. So stretch your right arm up, press through the left heel, tuck that left sits bone in and under, kneecaps lift as you take your right arm back. Press through that left heel, feel that right hip draw back and contain the hips. Feel those outer hips draw in. Shoulders down, lifting up through the crease of the armpit chest. Very nice. Let's take the right hand back to meet the left. So just open your hands. Let's step the right foot back. And let's maybe slide the block slightly. And let's take the left foot to the block. Good. So just check that your right leg is not crossing over the axis of the left. And let's start to press through the heels. Lift your kneecaps, lift your upper thighs. Press through the balls of the feet. So feel that big left toe knuckle. Feel the big right toe knuckle. So we're intelligizing these legs. We're lifting the thighs, we're lifting the kneecaps, adhering the muscles to the bone. That is youth in the body, where we limit the wear and tear on the ligaments and joints by adhering the muscles to the bone. So as you press through that right heel to make that right leg straight, see if you can widen from the center of the back of that right kneecap out to the sides, and then release that right kneecap into that space you created. So make that right leg straight. Keep those legs active. Let's take the right hand over to the left. Left arm up, stretching up, lift and lengthen. And then left arm back. So press through the feet. Lengthen through the armpit chest, through the sternum. Shoulders down away from the ears. Feel those outer hips contain inwards. Good job, everybody. Let's take the left hand back to meet the right. And let's step the left foot back. We're going to take a 90-degree downward dog. So stick your buttocks out and drop your chest. So try to stack your hips above your ankles and knees. Stick your buttocks out, shoulders down away from the ears. Drop your chest. And then let's slowly come back up. Good job, everybody. And let's take the right foot onto the block again. And let's heel toe that left foot as wide as you can. So try to have a heel to arch alignment. Lift that right kneecap up. So we want to avoid the right knee rolling in and this right hip, the head of this femur bone, sticking out. So this right hip is dropping in and under, it's tucking in and under. This right thigh is rolling out so that the knee does not collapse in. And this left thigh is also rolling out. But we want to work from the back of that left heel to create opening through here. So that we create this sense of pressing down from the left hip down to the heel. And then let's walk the right arm up as high as we can, lifting through your kneecaps. So the thighs roll out, tuck, 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 left hand up to meet the right. So press through that left heel, lifting through both kneecaps. Thighs are rolling out, tucking the tailbone in and under. Let the breath lead the effort here. Good job. So pressing, working from that back heel. Let's slowly lift back up. And let's heel toe that left foot in and change sides. Good. So let's take the left foot to the brick. Now try and take a wide stance. So Trikonasana requires a wide stance. And look at that heel to arch alignment. That's press through the back, right heel, press through the big left toe knuckle. Let's roll the thighs out. So look at that left knee and make sure it's not rolling in. Try to roll the thighs out, tuck, tuck, tuck the pelvis in and under, pressing from the back, right heel. Let's walk that left arm up the wall, right hand up to meet the left. So open and tuck. So the left thigh is rolling this way and the torso is moving in the opposite direction. So the thigh is rolling out. So I'm tucking, tucking, tucking from here and the torso is moving this way. That's it. And we keep this length by tucking that left sits bone. Nicely done. Let's take the right hand back to meet the left. And let's just step the left foot out. And then that's it. Okay, one more, two more maybe. So guys, let's bring the right foot to the inner left thigh. So Vrikshasana, but this time we're going to try and work toward getting that knee to the wall, because we want to tuck this right sits bone in and under. This right thigh is rolling out, but the thigh is lengthening. So you'll find that this will help to Drop the right sits bone by pressing the right knee down and lengthening from the hip through that thigh out through the kneecap. Pressing through the outer right foot into the inner left thigh. So tuck, tuck, tuck. Belly lifts. This right hip is dropping down in line with the left. Walk the right hand up the wall, left hand up to meet the right. So press that right knee down to drop that right hip. Lift the belly. Breathe deeply. Fullness in the breath. Let the mind go. No opinion, no thought. So this is a lateral twist for the spine. Let's take the left hand back to the hip and just turn your right knee forward. Let's bend the left leg here as much as you can. Cross your right thigh over the left. So if you can manage to wrap your feet around your shin, good on you. The important part is to not to tip forward. See if you can bring the weight into the left heel. Feel your inner thighs squeeze together, shoulders on top of the hips. So you can use the wall. Let's see if you can bring the weight into that left heel. Squeeze your thighs together. This is what creates that opening or liberation in the lower lumbar. Very important for the lower back. Let's slowly come up. And let's change sides. So again, let's bring the left outer foot to the inner right thigh. Try to get that left knee to the wall so that we can lengthen from the hip down through that thigh out through the kneecap. The thighs are rolling out. We're tucking the pelvis in and under. And then let's walk that left hand up the wall. Right hand up to meet the left. So lift your belly. That's it. Try to press that left knee down. Breathe deeply. Fullness in the breath. Slow, smooth inhale. Follow the breath. Slow, smooth exhale. Watch the breath. Let's take the right hand back to the right hip. Let's bring the left knee forward. Bend your right leg a lot. So sit back in that right leg. That's it. And then see if you can wrap. And then let's feel those inner thighs working like crazy. So the more the inner thighs roll together, the more we open that lower lumbar area. Stacking the shoulders above the hips. The weight is in that right heel. Good job. Breathe now. Let your mind go. Squeeze your inner thighs, bend your right knee, stack your shoulders above your hips. Lift your belly, lift through the crease of the armpit chest. Very nicely done, everybody. Let's slowly release. Whoo-wee. And let's take one more 90-degree downward dog here. So just step your feet back. Drop your chest, stick your buttocks out. Remember, the wider your feet, the more opening you're creating inside the body. So you can stay here. If this pose is loving you, then feel free to linger. If you would prefer to take the ropes for our last downward dog, feel free to take your ropes and just cross your ropes. You guys are loving this? Okay. And let's take a downward dog with the ropes if you want. There we go. So we've done very little rope work because Ali gave me the great suggestion of not to use, so we can use the stuff at home without worrying about not having ropes, right? Okay, so let's take the heels back and keep your heels high. So the benefit is the higher the heels, obviously the higher the hips. It's a more advanced pose to get those heels down lower and your feet closer together. And then let's walk the hands forward here, everybody. And this time, so you can do this at home without the ropes. If you'd like to explore, take your hands to the outsides of the mat and see if you can pull the mat apart. So break the mat in two. Press through the backs of your heels. Lift your chest forward towards your hands. And then create that counter stretch in the upper thoracic spine by drawing the lower ribs towards the hips. Sits bones down to the heels, so tuck your sits bones. Good job, everybody. Breathe deeply, full body breaths. Let's walk the hands to the feet, feet to the hands, nicely done. Never cheat yourself on a little love. So take a blanket underneath the back of your head, and we're going to bring the bolster over to the right so that we completely support the legs. So take a look. My feet come so that the heels are together, and then this is how it's going to look. You're going to close the loop of your strap, bring the strap around that foot, and so that you've got some love here, take that bolster right to the outer right hip. Right hand reaches toward the foot so the arm is straight. The left arm comes out to the side, the palm turns up, so that right bicep is now drawing down to the floor and the left bicep is reaching up. And then we can open the right leg out to the side without losing the left side of the body. So the left side of the body cuts the floor like a knife. So stay on your center, and let's start to reach the inner right thigh to the knee as we press through the left heel. So we work the legs in a sense of unison or a sense of symmetry here. Cutting the floor on the left side so we can feel the center of the buttocks. And we're working to open from both legs. The left leg as we open the left groin, the inner right thigh. Breathe deeply if you can. So we're pressing that left heel to the wall. The back of the left thigh is drawing down, and the back of the left thigh is trying to get to the floor. And that outer left buttocks cheek is working. So you see how I've taken a look here? If I want to be meticulous, those left toes should not turn out. We should feel a sense of the inner left thigh also cutting the floor like a knife. Top of the thigh down, outer hip down, outer inner thigh down. And then let's slowly lift the leg up and just bend your right knee, drawing the right shoulder down, drawing the right thigh down, stacking that right ankle above the knee. So a lot of us cannot get the right hand to the outer foot, so we've got the strap. The focus is to start to take that right thigh to the floor, right shoulder down. Pressing through the left heel. Good job. Let's slowly release. So let's take the right foot to meet the left. And let's take the left foot into the strap and just take your right foot out And then let's roll the bolster over to the other side. And let's take the strap now. And make sure you've got some support here because we don't want to be rolling to the left, losing the right side. So we only work so far as we can maintain both sides. Right arm out to the side, palm turns up, press through the right heel. So if you could take your middle and index finger to the big toe, but for most of us, this is really more accessible. So we lift through the crease of the armpit chest, try not to lose that right side of the body. And then the rest is accomplished simply by breathing deeply, by allowing the breath to lead the effort, by letting the mind go. So that ongoing dialogue eventually falls away if you commit to the breath. See if you can feel a sense of that inner left leg lengthening from the thigh, through the shin, through the instep of that inner left ankle, right out through the Achilles of that left heel, shoulders down. And then let's bend that left knee. So eventually we're trying to get this left thigh down to the floor, the left shoulder blade down to the floor, and we're stacking this ankle above the knee. Maybe. So see if you can get your ankle on top of the knee, guys. Just give it a shot. So the left foot is flat to the ceiling. I know, it's tricky stuff, right? Good. All right, let's release that left foot. So just take your left foot to the wall. And let's take the hands overhead, tuck your tailbone in and under. So the sits bones are drawing towards the heels as we actively press through the heels, the belly, the sternum. The crease of the armpit chest lifts. A supine Tadasana. Lower belly down. And then let's draw the knees to the chest and just take a moment to rock from side to side. So draw those thighs close to the chest. Hug the thighs to the ribs. Rocking from side to side to release through your lower back, to release through your hips. And then let's come over to the right, using your left hand to press and your right elbow coming up. And that's set up for Viparita Karani. Let's take the bolster just about 3 or 4 inches into the wall. And let's bring the blanket so it's behind. And just bring the creases, the edges in, like so. And let's come and just bring both of your buttocks cheeks to the wall. Shoulders down. And then let's lift the legs up. So the legs come up last. If the legs come up anything other than last, it's pretty tricky to get yourself in. Now we happen to have the ropes, so we can cheat a little. But you want your sits bones falling down behind the back of the bolster. And just bring your elbows to the cactus position. That's it, you guys. Good job. I'm going to come around and give you guys one more little treat here. So we are lengthening the hamstrings by allowing the sits bones to fall down behind the back of the bolster. And this will further that cause. Great. Good job. So Viparita Karani is what I would refer to as a risk-free inversion. It recharges the batteries of the central nervous system, and the fluids are now reversed. The head is lower than the heart, and the studies are suggesting that risk-free inversions reduce glutamine and plaque in the brain on an MRI. Very significant for Canadians because we have a very high autoimmune rate. We have some of the highest MS rates in the world. Regina apparently is a hotspot. And simply inverting the body seems to reduce disease in the brain. Not to mention the fact that this has a real sense of calm, even though the body is working hard. So there is a sense of relaxation, but there's work involved. This is a classic pose where there's a lot of movement inside the body. On the outside, the body is still. So we're moving in this sense of stillness. Now, if you didn't have a bolster on your legs or you wanted to gently move the bolster off, you can open your legs out into Viparita Karani. So we're looking for the stretch to take place on the outer legs, not on the insides of the legs, because we don't want to hurt the knees. And again, we're trying to press the backs of those thighs towards the wall. Very nice, guys. So the studies are also showing that taking a moment to feel grateful for something in your life completely changes the internal chemistries of the body to reduce all of those positive, feel-good chemistries. So just take a moment. My thoughts are usually toward being very grateful to having students. Extraordinarily grateful for the students that I have in my life. And immediately, the minute I think that, I get this feeling of the warm and fuzzies. So that's what we want to create. A sense of overall well-being. A sense of being present so that the past no longer influences the present, nor does it impose on the future. And this place of being present has a tremendous amount of joy. It's a risk-free moment. retraining the mind to think of the positive, to think about how lucky we are. So always, if you are feeling in a sense of complete bliss here, feel free to linger. Otherwise, we're going to start to bring the legs back up. And then let's bend the legs, and let's come over to the right, and again, use your left hand and your right elbow to gently press you up. And let's just come and sit in an easy cross-legged position. And let's take one last inhale as we reach the arms up. Bringing the palms together, let's look up from the sits bones, feeling that length we worked so hard to create through the sides of the body. Hands to prayer on the exhale. Let's close the eyes and just take a moment to thank yourself for this great effort to bringing something new and letting go of whatever it is you no longer need, just leaving that here on your mat. Thank you all. Namaste.